200 to go. Stable Secret kicking through on the inside for stake. He held out Red Aura, who's done a mountain of work, 3/4 of a length off the leader. Volkov is coiled up like a rattlesnake right behind them and ready to pounce. On the fence, Star Glitter with a length and a half to Stocks, and My Boy Paul in the straight. Stable Secret, Red Aura, and now Whiting makes his move outside of Pike. It's a Fishmonger's Delight at the 200. It's Volkov, Red Aura, the two fancy. Stable Secret near the rail. Volkov in front. Red Aura keeps coming back. On the outside, Volkov. Red Aura coming again. Volkov, Red Aura. Red Aura, Volkov went to the line. Give it to Red Aura. Red Aura, I think, won it about a nose to Volkov in a stirring battle. In behind them,
it was a stirring battle, and it was a very brave win by Red Aura. No doubt a very proud owner is Peter Price, who joins us this morning here on the Big Breakfast on TAB Radio as our Talk to the Owner special guest. Very good morning to you, Peter. David Short and Richie Bell with you. Welcome to the program, and congratulations. What a run you're having with Red Aura.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, we are thoroughly enjoying our experience with Red Aura, and thanks for the opportunity to talk to your audience.
No problem at all, Peter. That would have sent shivers down your spine. A magnificent call there from Darren over the final 400 metres.
I think the call was probably a very, very good call. It was a very exciting call and a very good one.
Yeah, well, Red Aura just getting there. Do you think you got the photo?
Yeah, we believe we got it. You have to feel for Volkov in that, who ran a very good race.
Yep.
I think Willie's ability to ride Red Aura, he's ridden him 3 times now, was a deciding factor in that.
Yeah, most definitely, and I think the horse had a bit to do with it as well. This is a galloper that really doesn't like losing, yet to taste defeat on race day, but the way that it dug in, you could just see this horse has got a very good attitude, Peter.
Yeah, as Len said after the race, Len Morton was saying that, he has a big heart, has a lot of inexperience still and a lot of greenness, and the challenge is to get him into a position of being able to race.
I think that it also helped having a pretty decent-sized cheer squad on track there as well to get it over the line when things got tight. I think there were plenty of you carrying it over the line, weren't there?
Oh, yes, this is a class of 1975 Aquinas horse. That's what the horse represents.
Absolutely, and plenty of you there cheering your charge on.
Yes, absolutely. The boys have been together we're 40 years out of school this year. We've been a very close unit all the way through. A very large number of us. The wives have known each other for a number of years before marriage and since. And we're just thoroughly enjoying the experience.
That's magnificent. Very rarely do I see any of my school friends from the government school, but it might be a little bit different with the private school boys. They seem to get together on a regular basis.
Well, we have had a reunion every 5 years. We can pull 20 for lunch at any time. We can get 50 to 60 to a reunion every 5 years. We have an email list of probably 60 to 70. But credit to this venture really goes to Damien Cooper and Mick O'Brien. This has been about 20 years in the making. Mick and Damien have wanted to get a horse for a long time with the group, and it took some convincing, and then we got to the stage where we hired a bus, and on the way down to see Gray down at Narrackup, we went past Cookham Hotel and stayed there with Jeremy Joyce and co, and then down to Borden to Gary Bungay's place, and we ended up buying a horse with Gray.
Unbelievable. That would have been some sort of road trip.
Well, we had about 18 of us on the bus. After we purchased the horse, we then went to Celestial Bay Wineries, which Mick O'Brien's, and then on to Preston Vale Wineries, which is Mick Stroud's, and came home after about 4 days.
Holy moly.
It's like you were celebrating in anticipation of all these victories.
Well, it was a very interesting trip. We caught up with about 30 of the folk on the way. They came in from different regions. Behind this horse is a lot of people, just to give your audience an idea. There's farmers from Cascades to Hyden to Wongan Hills to Borden to Cookham. We have one guy who's with Sotheby's in Paris, and another guy's in the construction industry in Dubai. We have plenty of lawyers and a district court judge, and we have doctors and everyone.
Holy moly, that's quite a bunch of people from all sorts of different backgrounds. It just shows you the beauty of racing and a racing animal, how it can bring all sorts of different people from different backgrounds together, and yet you're all the same on race day, cheering for the same horse. Yeah,
we are. It's been a very interesting experience. We're technically all first owners, but we did have a horse before this. Our first little venture didn't go too well. We got a bit of soreness in the first horse we had, and Dan was a little bit concerned, so Gray just put a line through it and said, we'll find another horse.
He replaced it, Gray.
Yeah, well, he did tell us when we went down to the stud that if he sold us a dud, he'd replace it with another dud.
The second dud's a bit better than the first dud.
Well, yes, I'm very pleased. We're very pleased for that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Gray's obviously done the right thing here. This horse is anything but a dud, as we've seen so far on the track. Obviously, you're now used to the winning feeling, 3 starts, 3 wins with Red Aura, but can you take us back to the debut of the horse and Red Aura's first win, what it was like, all of these people getting together, many of them as owners for the first time. What were they expecting on race day, and did it far exceed what maybe the expectations were when the horse did come out and win?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll just take you a step back before that. The whole intention was we thought we'd get a horse and we'd probably get to Bunbury and have a race and get a second or third or a fourth, and that would be our racing venture. So we're in unfamiliar territory here. So after the trial, when he won convincingly at the first trial, we went to the races there with an expectation to win. There was obviously no doubt about it. The most nervous person at the track was Gray. Gray turned to Jan just at the start and said, I'm more nervous than when our own horse was racing.
Well, one of the owners certainly would be able to handle it, is the man who works at Sotheby's in Paris.
Oh, he's used to the hot spot, yes.
Yeah, the glitz and glamour.
Yeah, but so, no, we went there with an expectation of just seeing how our horse could go, and it was an absolute delight to be part of it.
Definitely, and then of course the horse came out and won. It sounds like after that 4-day trip down there initially, might have had to give the liver a little bit of a drench after visiting many wineries. What about the day after the big win? Were there plenty of boys looking to have a sip and celebrate pretty hard after the win?
Yes, it was a good evening, and we certainly enjoyed the occasion. And the beauty about having a large group is that on every race day, a few others appear.
Definitely.
So it's like an ongoing...
The entourage is getting bigger each start.
Yes, and I think it's great. I think it's great for racing if you look around there and if this can generate some interest. And I'll take you back a bit. I mean, we had 3 different family groups come out, and the Stroud girls and Johnny Knowles' kids came out, and Jeremy Joyce's girls came out. And, last Saturday, just to show you how the flow and effect is, that my young fellow was down at the Cottesloe Hotel at his fiancee's birthday, and there was 20 of them there looking at on mobile phones.
Yeah, right.
Cheering away.
Wow. People at the pub would have been looking over going, what are these lunatics up to, all screaming and ripping the place down in the corner looking at a phone. But that's what racing does to people, Peter. This segment each and every week when we have talked to the owners, it's incredible the cut through that it has, not just for the owners themselves but to their family, their friends. Often if they're involved in sporting clubs, be it a golf club or a footy club or a cricket club, it generally spreads right the way through. So one person having an interest in a horse can often spread out to 200 or 300 people per owner.
Oh, look, absolutely, and what people ring and people you haven't heard from a long time. That's the flow and effect is enormous. That's the best way to put it.
Now, talk us through your history in horse racing. It's quite intriguing.
Well, I don't. The family's probably more important than anything I have.
Yeah.
We grew up at Kadati Station. The family owned Kadati Station at Kew. My grandfather managed it for Sir Langley Froy, who was a former chairman of the Turf Club. And my grandfather, Matt Price, won the 1926 Murgu Cup.
The Murgu Cup.
Now, Murgu was one of the bush race meetings along with Winning Pool and Landor that existed for the station horses.
Wow. That's up around Yalgoo way, isn't it?
North of Yalgoo, yeah.
Yeah, and of course Yalgoo still have their race meeting, Go the Goo each year, the big picnic meeting there.
Oh, absolutely. And my father, Jim Price, and his brother, John Price, my uncle, both raced horses on Kadati for many years. John continued racing. My father believed he got diddled at a race meeting in Landor one year, so went on to become steward for the region.
That's
square it up. Great way to square it up.
Yeah, so he ended up for about 30 years being steward for the Yalgoo, Magnet, Kew, Meekatharra and Landor races. And John went on. He had one race at Ascot on a horse from the station called Colony Boy.
Yep.
And the other side of the family, Jeff Price and Nancy O'Sullivan, brother and sister, went on to win with Yenton in the Railway Stakes back a number of years ago.
Wow, so a bit of big success in the family along the way. You talk us through your father's acquisition of Kadati Station.
Oh, that was an interesting one. So Langley Lefroy, the prices, the Whitnams and the Lefroys were all very close. My grandfather worked for Sir Langley for a number of years and went to the station in 1916. Sir Langley contacted him when he was chairman of the Turf Club and said, look, I owe you 5,000 quid, you have 6 kids, the station's yours.
Gee.
Wow.
And then the wool boom came and things moved on from there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's very interesting in our syndicate because there's another chap in our syndicate called Mick Stroud, and Stroud's had Winning Pool Station north of Carnarvon, and they hosted the winning races, which was another bush picnic meeting. They saddled up there one day and they were short of a jockey, so old Mick Stroud Senior turned to young Mick and said, well, looks like you're riding, son, so he threw him the silks. Mick was about 14.
Oh, goodness me. And what took on the opportunity with glee?
Well, he did, and he rode well. He's probably over his jockey weight nowadays, but he did very well as a 14-year-old in the winning races. So we have a sprinkle of people throughout the bush race meeting circuit in the older days.
Magnificent. So it's always sort of been there just ticking away in your blood.
Oh, I've always been interested. Some of the other guys, Mick O'Brien, Damien Cooper, I think, and Michael Hendricks may have had horses in the past, or I know Damien has. Stroudy certainly has. So there's been a number of people who have had horses. Sometimes you just need that excuse to be in.
So true, true. And what a ride it's been today, and set to be continuing on for some time to come. This horse so far so good. You never like to look too far ahead, but on everything that it's displayed so far, Red Aura, there look to be plenty more good times ahead for the syndicate.
Well, I spoke to Len the other day, and the horse pulled up very well after Saturday. I had a full meal on Saturday night. Sunday was in excellent condition. And when I spoke to Len, he said, look, Dan will have to map something out for it. We'll have to see whether it needs a few more races and see where it can go. We're still in learning mode with it. We're going to be relying on Gray and Dan to work out where the horse should go. But it does look as though it has the heart and has the ability to run. And let's just see where we end up with it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see it step up in trip. 1,400 metres, I believe there's a race on January the 31st at Ascot.
The 1,400 metres.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't got that far yet. We're waiting for Dan to have a look at things.
Yeah, that's maybe one little option, but the horse showed that much tenacity. There shouldn't be a problem with a little bit further journey for the horse.
They've talked that. It went from the 1,000 to the 1,200. Yeah. Didn't quite race the way they wanted to. It would have been better if it was in Volkov's position for most of the race. We probably planned it to be. That didn't work out, but it still won. So it needs skilled people like Dan and Gray to say, okay, how do we get this into a position, and does it need to go up a distance, or do we give it another go at 1,200? Sure, and after tasting this success, Peter, you're looking at maybe purchasing a few more? Well, the IRA stands for, according to John Knowles, who's our communications manager on this, to the Old Boys Racing Association.
Oh, nice.
So there's many options. Look, truthfully, we haven't got there yet. We just want to see where things settle down. It's always great to be able to reinvest back in the industry, and the industry needs it and deserves it. But just as a group, we'll play each day that comes. Yeah, fair enough too. Well, at this stage, it looks like you're on the right path. The horse has already earned $131,000, and the promise of more to come. I'm sure that every chance that'll be rolled over at some point. And I think it's a funny sort of caper. Generally, when you're involved in a horse like this and you're having as much fun as what you are, it's a bug that bites pretty hard. I'm tipping there's a lot of the owners that can't wait to probably get involved in the next one now. Well, yes, and if Gray can keep finding us another dud like this one, no doubt we'll all be. Yeah, just a few more like that would be just perfect. Thanks, Gray. And just quickly, I was going to say, where does the red come from in Red Aura? And we now know where the aura comes from. Well, it was a case of searching for a red and black combination, and it didn't work, so Red Aura was it. All right, fair enough. Yeah. Very nice work. And so all the team catching up. No doubt this has been wonderful as well for just from a catch-up perspective. You mentioned that it was taking 5 years to have reunions, and you're in touch on emails and the like. But to have an excuse to catch up with old mates is always great, and this is certainly one of them. And we're enjoying it, and nowhere better than the environment of Ascot or Belmont that the Turf Club provide there. It's a great forum to get together. People can come and go as they please. People can come and just watch a race and disappear. and others can hold up the bar.
Tipping you've got some pretty good yarns from those years ago at high school together as well.
Yes, it's a bit like what happens at school stays at school. You know?
I don't want to let too much out of the bag this morning by the sounds, Pete.
No, there's a big audience. I'll start getting some texts and calls in a minute, so best if I keep quiet.
Fair enough too. Well, you stay in the good books. Thanks so much for sharing your story with us this morning here on The Big Breakfast. Great to see Red Aura having a wonderful run, and pass on the best to all of the rest of the connections. Long may you have many more winners. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Peter.
Peter Price joining us this morning here on The Big Breakfast on TAB Radio. Talk to the Owners.
This Talk to the Owners is brought to you by the WA Racehorse Owners Association. TAB Radio. TAB Radio.